Hi everybody, Stan with Ukulele Projects. Sorry about the long delay in videos. We started the new year sick, and we're sick for the first couple weeks of January, and then it was a couple weeks of getting back on track with projects and whatnot. And then I finally have gotten around to putting together this video. This will be the first video of 2022. I've got a whole bunch of really neat videos in the works. I've got some amazing projects coming up that I've been told I can turn into videos. So for now, what I'm going to talk about is this very special little ukulele that I have with me right here. This was a project that I did for U-Space in Los Angeles. And this is a 1920s or 1930s era Kamaka. It's not koa. This is a mahogany Kamaka. And it's a wonderful little instrument. It has such a beautiful sound, which you'll hear in a few minutes. This was an extremely complicated project, and what made it so complicated was that it wasn't one of those projects like Jason and Patrice's ukulele of the similar era where Patrice just said, "Here, Daniel, work your magic on it." And, I asked them what the price point. They just said, "Do what you need to do to fix it." This one was, do what I need to do to fix it while keeping it as inexpensive as possible. And it was really a mess. The soundboard was completely sunken in. It was sunken in so much, sunken in, that there was barely a millimeter of space between the 12th fret and the strings. It was almost impossible to play. I mean, you could play it, it didn't sound good. It had a huge crack this long in the back. There was original repair someone did right here. It had a very long crack going right up the front right here. And as I said, it was completely caved in. The soundboard was completely caved in so low that the top of the wood bridge was almost flush with the top of the frets. So I needed to address all these different problems. First thing I had to do was remove the bridge. And I can tell you the bridge had been put on at some point in the past because the glue that was holding it was fairly new in terms of what 70 or 80 or 20s or 30s, like 80 to 90-year-old hide glue would normally be removed like. So someone had put the bridge on in the past. Yet because the soundboard was so sunk in, I not only had to fix the crack, I had to come up with a way to raise up the soundboard, and if I'm going to impact the sound in a positive manner. Now, and the way I did that, I'll explain in just one second, but I got ahead of myself. Because it was so sunk in, because of the crack had such a wide gap in the back, the first thing I did when I received this was humidify it slowly. And I put a Oasis humidifier in this, and then I put it back in its case. And I would check it periodically because I need the wood to be somewhat pliable if I'm going to try to, get it to bend back into closer to its original shape. And that took about a month and a half of just letting it go slowly and just checking it. The gap in the back never completely closed. I could push it down and it would be closed, but it was not where the wood had taken the memory, and because it had been cracked for so long. And it was so sunk in the front that one of the ways I would check it would be, rather than use a moisture meter, which I have, it's more an intuition thing and by feel. I would reach in and I would touch the wood, and I wanted to see whether it was at all pliable because I needed to pull the top up, and I didn't want to create more cracks. When it was finally workable, I made a bridge plate for it, but the bridge plate is also, it's actually way oversized. I'll have a picture of it. The bridge plate is like this large, and I'll show the photo of it. but it tapers. It's not like just a piece of wood in there. It's shaped, and so that it goes right to the back of the bridge, and it goes about this far up in its rounded corners, and it becomes not unlike what Pepe Romero would use in his skin bracing type system, but just a brace that stabilizes the top, tightens up the sound, helps with the bringing out more high notes, because it really didn't sound very good in the high notes before. And as I said, the bridge plate is stiff enough I designed the bridge plates to be stiff enough to flatten out the bridge. I wasn't trying to make this completely flat, the top. There's still a dip in front, a little dip right around this range. This is nearly a 100-year-old instrument. I'm not trying to make it look like a new instrument. I just needed to do something that would enhance the sound of this beautiful mahogany instrument. And then I also made the bridge plate large enough to work as a large cleat over this very, very long crack, the bottom part of the crack. I still need to put another cleat up here. So there's the bridge plate, it's like a giant brace, flattens out the top, or raised the top up, and really just helped with the sound profile of the instrument. And then I had the other cleat right here. The long crack in the back that didn't completely come together, that took 5 cleats. It's like literally, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, roughly in that range. And I don't know if I have a photo. I'll double check if I took photos of my endoscope so you can see the 5 cleats inside. And so once it was cleated together, then I had the challenge of filling the little bit of a gap. Now, because this was a project that was please do the best you can do and keep it as inexpensive as possible, I didn't go to a hardwood store and find mahogany that would be as close as color, and then cut a tiny little sliver with grain that could match as close and put it in there. That would have made this repair, that little procedure there would have over doubled the price of the total repair. And so what I did was I used a high quality wood filler in here. And sometimes I'll make filler out of white glue, but because I knew I'd be touching this up so that it would look like it was a repaired crack, but it would look like wood, I grained it to look like wood. I used a high quality filler that dries real hard, and then because I had the advantage of having somewhat of the crack on this side, I used a pipette and I put cyanoacrylate glue so that I dropped it in so it would seep along that crack, and it would super harden the filler so it wouldn't cause any deadness acoustically in the back. It would be very hard, and it was also strengthen the filler because the cyanoacrylate would basically, as I said, it would go in there like a resin and soak in from the back, from the inside. And then I also had the acrylic on the top, and then the finish I put on, and then I blended the finish right along here. Once again, because this is a budget repair, I didn't want to skimp on the quality of the structural repair. I did not take the time and the expense for the client to sand it down and prep it and top coat it. That's a lot of extra work. I have to mask off each of the frets individually to do that. Yeah. The other thing that I had to take care of was that this particular Kamaka had wooden friction pegs, and the owner had trouble tuning with those friction pegs. And I'm actually pretty good at tuning with friction pegs, and I have to say that I can understand why the owner didn't like them, because these particular friction pegs, they looked like they were original to the instrument. They just did not, they worked, but you had to get just the right tension at just the right point, and they were really finicky to get tuned. So these are Grover, I think they're called 2B Ukulele Jr. They're made for vintage instruments that have the smaller holes. and I did not ream those holes out at all. So if someone looks really closely, like I've got really strong, rather thick fingernails, I can put my fingernail underneath the peg. You really can't see it, but the reason for that is if someone wanted to take it back to just being a friction peg, they could take these out, the holes are still tapered, you can put it in, and they can use them that way. But these hold tune, and they are so easy to tune that this will achieve what the owner was hoping to have done. And once again, in trying to work toward what the client was striving for, they now have something that's very easy to tune, and it's a lot cheaper than going with, say, Goto, planetary tuners. Those would have been I would have had to ream the holes out. That would have been, irreversible repair. I do have peg heads, but even peg heads, I would have had to ream the holes for the peg heads. So these tuners fit in the original holes. Instead of being, like $70 or $80, they were, I think, $15. Roughly, I don't know. I'll look up the price. I got them from Amazon, actually. I'll look up the price and I'll put it. I usually put things right here, so you'll see it right there. Anyway, this is such a fun project. It turned out really nice, and I'm going to play. This thing is so beautiful sounding. I was going to have my wife play something, but this is like a last minute. We've been so busy with projects playing catch up for being backed up from starting the New Year sick, that I literally around 9 o'clock I started assembling my little in the living room video studio, and that's why I'm doing this at now. It's 12:05 at the moment. But when she played canon on this, it almost brought tears to my eyes. It was just so beautiful. You would not think a soprano, when you get way up in the 7th, the 10th fret, and the 12th fret, would sound so pretty. The way the A string at the 12th, it's at the 10th fret. It just has such, has such a full sound to it that you don't get. I mean, we have some nice concert ukuleles that don't sound that nice when playing farther up the fretboard. This is just a beautiful sounding instrument. I will play Sweet Hour Prayer, and then I'll try to work my way through. I'm trying to teach myself Roxy's Waltz by Aaron Kime upside down. And I'll try to muddle my way through that just so that you can hear what it sounds like. So please, once again, I'm playing this upside down. For those of you that are new to the channel, I'm a lefty, so I play like this, but this instrument is strung like this. And I'm not like Alex Beds from Southern Ukulele Store in Great Britain, who actually can do the upside down and has a lot of pieces and plays back and forth actually quite well. I'm working on it, but that's a work in progress. So here's Sweet Hour Prayer. Just love the sound of this little instrument, and I'm going to credit that to it being this beautiful mahogany. It's just amazing. It's really, really long grain. It's got a wonderful shimmer to it. It's a beautiful instrument. Really flat neck and a really wide neck. It's like my favillas. Okay, here goes. I'll try to get through Roxy's Waltz. The first half. It's just so wonderful. I know that even though I use a nice mic and I've got a nice digital recorder, by the time it gets on the YouTube, it's been compressed, and it just really can't convey just how beautiful, how bell-like, and just how melodic this instrument is to play. It now has an action that's 2.25 at the 12th fret instead of like 2.25 millimeters at the 12th fret instead of like barely 1 millimeter at the 12th fret. It's just so has so much different tonal qualities as you tap around it. It's not dead up here. And this is what brings the fullness to the sound. The same with this side. So much richness, so much tonal variation in the top of this instrument. It's just a gem. I really hope the owner really enjoys this wonderful, wonderful little instrument. Anyway, first video for 2022. 1920s or 30s era Kamaka, all solid mahogany. It was virtually unplayable when I got it, and now it's something that well, I won't, I'm looking forward to the owner getting it. Although if it ever came back to me somehow, I wouldn't mind that either. No, no, seriously, I really love, as you all know, bringing these instruments back to life. You've heard me say this before, but I really mean it. This wood had life as a tree. It had life as an instrument. It lost that life as an instrument, and now it has it back again. In addition to that, one of the things I love about the vintage instruments is the history that goes with them. That's part of them. You can tell this instrument has had a lot of play over the years, and you can tell the person that played this was very much a first position player, just by the wear that it's had. Playing a lot of, G, G7, looks like a lot of F. You've got these are the spots that are most worn. So you've got the here, all the way up the second fret, and then these two on this fret. The rest of them look pretty good, and even the frets look pretty good. It's really nice. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. Thanks for watching. I do have some amazing projects coming up that I'll be sharing. I have some videos. I know there's going to be two ukuleles. I need my wife to help me with that video because one of the ukuleles is hers. And then after, I think that might be my next video actually. But anyway, just stay tuned. Lots of good videos, more giveaways coming. I won an auction recently for an instrument that I just purchased off of eBay for the purpose of turning it into a giveaway. I have at least 2 or 3 instruments that are lined up as giveaway instruments, and at least one of them, possibly both of them, will be those kind of surprise giveaways where I'm just going to show the instrument, no advance promotion or anything, and I'm just going to say to the people that are watching, hey, guess what? This one's been given away. So stay tuned, stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see you in the next video.